Welcome to Unstuck with HYROX Wellness Lab, the podcast where real people share the stories behind getting their lives, their bodies, and their mindsets back on track. I'm your host, Brett Hunt, and in every episode, we dive into powerful conversations with athletes, weekend warriors, health and wellness professionals, and everyday people who refuse to settle. These are the breakthroughs, the setbacks, and the mindset shifts, the moments that get us unstuck. So today I'm joined by someone who is really cool. She likes to party, likes to keep it cool and breezy.
Yeah, you got it.
This is Breezy Rhodes. She is a trainer at the gym class in Chandler. She's a pro level HYROX athlete who constantly dominates the leaderboard there, and she's a mother who redefines what it means to do hard things. She is known for her I like to party energy, and I'm excited to talk to her today. Breezy, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. And real quick before we start, you just did a relax and kind of restore protocol over at our facility at the Wellness Lab. Just give me your thoughts on that whole thing. What was that like?
Yeah, I feel magical. It's like I'm vibing right now. I'm like, that was unexpected. I see why you do that before this because I feel on another level relaxed and honestly recharged.
Awesome. That's great. What was your favorite part of that whole thing?
The air treadmill, I mean, that blew me away. It just running and feeling support when running is a feeling I've never experienced, and I'm obsessed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. I was telling you there, just like it's so hard to explain that to people. So I'm glad that you got to experience that.
Yeah.
So before we kind of dive into the podcast, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, why you do what you do now, and all that.
Yeah. Well, I'm Breezy. I'm for sure like that's not my real name. Everybody's follow-up question is that your real name? It is not. My real name is Brianna, but I have gone by Breezy since about 7th grade, so it feels mine. I am a mother of 4. I have 2 older boys, 18 and 16, and then a 6 and 4-year-old. So I'm kind of in 2 dimensions of life at all times with teenagers and then your babies. Grew up in Idaho on a potato farm, shocking.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I was there, lived there full time until I was 16. And then my parents were what you would consider a snowbird type situation. So we would come back and forth. And then I've been here since I was 18, but you can't take the farm girl out of me. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. How big was your potato farm up in Idaho?
I mean, it's pretty big. I don't know acreage because we always they're called circles,
Hmm.
which is what the watering system is on. And there was circles. And I think at one point we had over 27 of those, which I don't even know how many acres is in one circle, maybe 30 to 60 acres in one circle. I don't know. That could be way off. But
Wow,
yes, he
pretty
had
big though.
very big farm. Like we did all sorts of things from potatoes, grain, hay, you name it, we probably did it. Yeah.
That's way cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Like I don't know if you've heard of the potato farm out in Eloy, Arizona. It's called Cross Creek.
Huh. Yeah.
I worked out there in high school for a week in the summer. So I was in the warehouse just bagging potatoes and loading them on the pallets but
Did
that's
you
that's tough.
ever did you ever do a potato harvest or like a spud harvest is what we
I
call
I never
it?
did. I was just in the cold warehouse
Dang it.
and just took the potatoes as they
Yeah.
came in, made sure the bags were full and put them on the pallet. That's what
Okay.
my job was.
Honestly, nothing is more stinky than a rotten potato, and you have to know that.
I
Being
have heard that, yes,
okay.
and I've
In
smelled
the in the in the
couple
warehouse,
of
you gotta
those.
yeah, you don't get all the good potatoes in there.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, so wellness has kind of become one of your calling cards now. What got you into wellness? What was it that kind of drove the farm girl in you to then become someone who's really into wellness?
Yeah, I had my 2 babies, my 2 big boys now, when I was young. I was 17 and then 19. And I mean, I did not grow up in any type of athletic. I mean, I grew up on a farm. It wasn't an athletic place
Mhm.
in Idaho, right? No sports growing up. I did try out for track team I loved watching the runners, and I always kind of wanted to be a runner, didn't really like see myself as one, but tried out for track team. Everybody makes it, a
Yeah.
shocker. And the coach first practice was like, I don't know that your strength is going to be in running, but you would be really excellent in shot put. And I was like, okay, show me what shot put is. I got to shot put and I was like, nope, this is not what I want to be doing. But I think correlates with the farming. Like I was a very strong, like I don't like we used to pick rocks and move heavy equipment around. And so I think naturally strength has been something that I didn't know I had from that. So I'd say that came from that. But yeah, going back to 17 and 19, I didn't know how like adults worked out. My family does not, my parents, my siblings really didn't move their bodies outside of just like within the farm work. And like that's how we moved our bodies. And I remember going to a friend's baby shower and she had a bunch of medals on her wall. And I was like, what are these for? And she's like, I started running a year ago and I signed up for local races and I go run them and I got all these medals. And I was like, that's cool. And she's like, we actually have a track group that runs on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. You should come. Ended up taking probably a month to go and found the community. I think the first thing that like really resonated me working out was just like how cool the community is when you go. And like if you have that, the consistency and discipline become easier. So, started there, and then that revolved into, doing that for a few years, running all distances, ran a few marathons, half marathons, all the things, and couldn't stop getting injured and didn't understand injury prevention at all. I mean, I would look up online and I would see like I should be foam rolling and I should be stretching. And I'm like, how? How do you do that? When do you do that? Like I never understood, how to do that. So instead, I just quit running and started CrossFitting and went to CrossFit. So full stop on running to full send on CrossFit. And the first year of CrossFit's so fun. You're PRing every time you walk into the gym because you know, every day is a new lift and you can get better and better. And I really thrived in that environment of being like, wow, I'm better, I'm stronger, I'm doing this lift better. And which led me to do CrossFit for almost 11 years. And then kind of like lost running, but would do it within the workouts. And again, what stopped me from why I stopped doing CrossFit was I couldn't figure out how to stop getting injured, shoulder injuries. It just always felt like there was something aching. And again, never learned the wellness side or the recovery side of things. And yeah, I don't know, hit 30 years old and decided I have to focus on the sleep, the nutrition, the recovery just as hard as I do on the working out. And then after COVID, found the gym that I'm coaching at now. And I walked in there just looking for a drop in of a gym that like would be my vibe with friends and did a drop in and literally had to figure out exactly how to stay there for long term. And it's been incredible. It's hit training. We do a lot of intensity to work almost every anaerobic side of the whole person and really fell in love with just the community aspect. And yeah, and I think that's kind of what drove me there within like my workout realm from when I started at 17. Yeah.
That's awesome. So now that you're a trainer at the gym,
Yeah.
the gym class, right? So it's
Yes.
called
Yeah.
the gym class in Chandler. How do you incorporate now the recovery part of it so that you aren't having all these injuries and
Yeah.
you can keep going? How do you
Yeah.
that?
I have the highest level of training I ever have. And I feel the most recovered. And it's funny, my friends talk about it all the time. They're like, dude, you're such a grandma because I go to bed early. I like to wake up early. And, like how I do it now is you cannot overwhelm yourself with it. You have to just start somewhere. And I started with sleep and eating quality food and not all the time, but like just really trying to like 1% better every day. And it started there. And then it led me into, okay, how much mobility am I doing? So I take one day on my rest recovery days. I do some mobility work to work on like stretching and different, those things that you just don't do when you show up to the gym. And then I think the revolution of recovery kind of has come alive in the last few years of like cold plunging and sauna and red light. And it's just been by research and seeing what feels good. And it's like the top 10%. Like the recovery is the top 10% of what gives you an edge to keep going and be consistent.
Yeah.
So I would just say that. I would say in general, it was starting with what I think is the foundation, which is your nutrition, your hydration, and your sleep. And then I've added in vibration plate every single day to keep things moving, red light at night, every night to just like help with like almost getting my body ready for sleep. It's like if my body knows it's red light, we know we're winding down. And then I use, some contrast cold and heat throughout the week, just depending on how my body's feeling. If I do a race, I use a lot of like cold plunge for sure to like get my body less inflamed. And there's some weeks that I really just need warmth
Mhm.
to get the blood flowing.
That's awesome. That's great. And I mean, you mentioning races. I mean, you love the HYROX races, right?
Yeah.
I think I saw online you've competed in like 8 so far. Like you're
Yes.
on the professional level of the HYROX and all that. So
Yeah.
what brought on that love of doing HYROX? Was it just, hey, I want to try this, and you just loved it? And
Yeah.
what does that look like?
Yeah, I really was drawn to High Rocks for the fact of like the environment really seemed fun. Um, I like the party. I did love to party, but now my partying goes into like what seems fun. Like what can I do? Where can my like I want good vibes all the time. High Rocks really seemed to be like a very good vibe place. And I think I called this out a lot is it is the only race I've ever seen or the only competition that you get to be with people the entire race. You get to see people physically in pain. You get to see people winning. You get to see people like I just think that's so inspiring. And we got a group of girls to go to New York last year for our first time. We just wanted to train for something. I think always having a goal to go do something and compete in something is definitely at 3:30 a.m. when my alarm goes off for a hot summer run. It's what gets me up, being like, "Oh, I got a race coming up." Like, there like motivation only goes so far and then there's some discipline, but for sure having something on the horizon is helpful. So, yeah, we got some there was 3 girls including me and we decided to go to New York and try it out. And we finished that race. And like when we were finishing that race, we didn't prep at all. We just kind of went and did it.
Mhm.
When we finished that race and like went across the finish line, all of us were like, we're doing that again. That was so fun. And obviously, like I went straight into data analyzing. I'm going to get faster. I'm going to get better at this. And I drug the other 3 along with me on
There you
that.
go.
Yeah.
Awesome. So for those who don't know what a high rocks race is, there's 8 different components of it, right?
Yeah.
Break that down. What
Yeah.
does that look like?
Yeah. Yes. So there are 8 runs that consist of 1,000 meters, or I guess. I don't know if you can cut that, but it's 8 runs. It's 8 runs of 1K.
Okay.
So you're going to go 0.62 8 different times. And then there's 8 stations involved. So you start running and then you go into the stations. And the stations are, you're doing your skier 1,000 meters and then you run and then you go into your sled push. Depending on what division, the sled push weight's different. Then you go run and you repeat the runs after each of the sled pull. You go burpee broad jumps. You go row 1,000 meter into farmer carries, walking lunges with a sandbag on your back, and you cannot put the sandbag down or else you get a penalty. So you gotta keep that one there, and then you do that final run into your wall balls. So yes, it's 100 wall balls as well. That one feels a little daunting to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never, I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, okay, okay. How many wall balls? Okay. I'm
Yeah,
out.
I'm out. The wobbles, that is a thing for people. You're like, go through the workout and they're like, okay, I could get on that. And then you get to wobbles, like, no, I don't like wobbles.
Yeah. No, no thanks. I'm out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what does training look like for that? So when you did say that,
Yeah.
like whenever the next race is
Hmm.
it a 6-week process to kind of amp up for that, or what does
Yeah.
training look like?
Honestly, I think to do it right, you need 8 to 12 weeks. I think, I mean, even for somebody, there's so many variables and components to when you go run, you're just focused on your run and your pace.
Mhm.
You know, with HYROX, you have variables of strength and endurance, and it's a running race. Like you are running 5 miles, and you're running on compromised legs. So I would say for training, you got to run. You got to, and you don't just want to go out on easy runs and have a bunch of junk miles. So how I set up my week is you're going to do a speed workout. You're going to do somewhat of a threshold workout and then more of a longer slow zone 2 run that kind of mixes and matches just to get your runs up. And then you really want to train the actual variables of high rocks, maybe 1 day a week where you're actually hitting, some wall balls and some lunges and some, just like the variables that you're going to hit there so they don't shock you, but you don't want to just overtrain that because then it's boring. And then I do another skier and rowing day where it's a lot of just erg work. And I do throw in the air bike. It's miserable, but it is helpful for your endurance for sure. And then I go to the gym class and I also teach at the gym class. And so that's where I get my strength training component of, 2 upper body days and 2 lower body days. So I would say I work out six days a week, 6 days a week consistently with one consistent day off. And there are some days like on a zone 2 when I go out and I run a zone 2 run for 40 minutes that I'm probably also lifting upper body on that one day. So there is one day that I do have to hit 2 workouts.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of fun,
Yeah.
actually. I've seen the high rocks, like a lot of my friends are doing them, and so I'm like, all right, maybe I'll
Yeah.
try it out. But
Yeah,
it's way cool.
you have one coming up. It's gonna be in January. I'm
I've got plenty of time.
Yeah,
That's way more.
yeah, you'll be good. Just start running on your air treadmill and you
Yeah,
will be ready to go.
there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
I might be hurting a little bit
yeah,
though,
yeah,
running at all that weight.
yeah,
All right. So high rocks is pretty grueling though, right? Like
yeah,
you said, you're running about 5 miles and then just these pretty intense workouts in
yeah,
between the in between each run. So, and I'm sure that it's probably better at race 8 versus race 1.
yeah,
But when that moment hits, like, oh man, like I'm just gonna put this sandbag now. I'll take the penalty or
yeah,
whatever. How do you push through those moments when it might be just super hard? Your body's just like,
yeah.
I can't do another wall ball, or I can't do another lunge. Like, what do you tell yourself in those moments?
Yeah, a lot. There's a lot of self-talk that has to happen because you're showing up with all different levels of athletes to the most elite, to people that are, they just saw this and wanna just finish it, and so there's a lot that goes through your head. I think for me, the thing that I share to myself all the time, I'm very nice to myself when I self-talk, but it's like, "You're strong, you've trained for this." The training is the hard part, if I'm being honest.
Mhm.
The training is the hard part. The race, I tell myself, like, "You've worked so hard for this, go enjoy it." Like, because at the end of the day, if you trained right, the race is the celebration.
Mhm.
But no, there's been moments where I do wanna put something down or I'm watching somebody go faster or move faster, and I have to remind myself, like, "This is my race, and I get to take whatever data and memories from this and change it for next time." But I really try to enjoy it and just be in the moment.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Just being present in the moment. Just I've trained for this. I can do it. Right.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't look perfect. I think that's something I kind of struggle with certain things. If I'm doing a different workout routine or something, it's just like, well, I messed this up or this
Yeah.
isn't perfect how it should be. Now I'll just do something else. I don't know. I'll leave
Yeah.
it there. But
What's crazy is my husband and I did Boston last year and we showed up. He had never done one and he actually didn't train for it. Like he does train.
mm,
Like he CrossFits and he does, that those shorter bursts of intensity. We get to Boston and we nailed it. Like we did so good. We came in 103.50 first time doing it. Like yeah, it was amazing. And so I think we had maybe a little confidence in our body And so like go 6 months later in Anaheim, we kinda went out there, and by the burpee broad jumps, I had lost him. Like, my the race went from beating Boston's time
Mhm.
to being like, keep him on the course, like, keep him from stopping because he just, not every day is a good day, and not every race is a good race, and, like, he had tapered too hard, hadn't eaten enough, and he felt it by the burpee broad jumps, and that's not even halfway, and so the rest of the race, like, in my head, I remember just being like, it doesn't matter what time we finish in, we need to finish, because what I do believe is if you quit something, it makes every other time after quitting easier. So even if you have to like swallow the pill that you were slower, okay, I can do that, but I can't do that to myself or let him do that to himself and not finish the finish line. Because then why, when stuff gets hard next time or at the next race, why won't you just stop? Or if you know I'm off track of my goal, why would you not just stop when you've already done it before? So I think for me, it's always finishing the race, even if your head's held a little lower than it would be.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that advice. So speaking of advice, HYROX is one of those things I feel like it's gaining a lot of traction. A lot of people are really starting to really fall in love with the workouts, or like myself, they're seeing them and they're saying, I gotta be a part of this, right?
Yeah.
So what would you tell people that are like starting to find them? What's some advice you would give some people that are first timers?
I would say if you are a first timer, you've gotta run. I I don't think, and I trained 80 people between September, well, maybe August of last year to January for Phoenix. I trained 80 people, and the feedback at the end, so in my program, we had 2 main runs every single week, 1 erg workout, and then 1 HYROX specific workout. So there's 4 workouts, okay? And this is not, you could do those 4 workouts and be fine and go into CrossFit or go into this HYROX and do great. Well, I think everybody intentionally just saying, "Oh, it's 0.62. I can run 0.62."
Mhm.
I'm worried about the weight of the sleds because it's 350, 375. It's heavy. I'm worried about the pull. I'm worried about the ergs, like, and the feedback from probably 90% of those 80 people were, "I should have run more."
Mhm.
Because your body, you can go out and run half a mile, sure. But when you put weight on those legs or you put a sled push and all that lactic acid starts building up in those muscles, like, it's a different feeling running on compromised legs than fresh legs. And so that variable, if you're a beginner, the first place, it doesn't matter how fast you run, just start running.
Mhm.
And then second, I would just make sure that you are able to like do some good body weight squats, some good body weight like push-ups, because in your burpees, in your wall balls, in your lunges, all those things, the foundational movement is body weight.
Mhm.
So if you can foundationally have a good, 25 full depth squats, you're ready to pick up maybe some lighter weights and start there. But I would say you got to run and you got to have foundational good body strength first before you start picking up weights and throwing them around.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right. So what's your least favorite of all the eight? Which one's the
Yeah.
least favorite and which one's the
Easy.
favorite?
Burpee broad jumps and me do not get along. I can't figure out if it's because I'm taller, but I see tall men jump like, I don't know.
Hmm.
It's the worst. And honestly, until they are over, I'm thinking about the burpee broad jumps. From the moment I'm sitting in the Red Bull tunnel ready to go, I'm thinking about the burpee broad jumps the whole time.
The nemesis, right?
They are the nemesis, and when I finish them, that run is the worst run after, like, I'm so gassed, and so in my training, I'm doing burpees and burpee box jumps and burpee to plate, like, once a week minimum to get over whatever mental block I have with them, because physically I can do them.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. Burpees are one of those things. If I see those on a workout, I immediately just go, "You gotta be kidding me!" And I
Yeah.
think for me, they're not the same. But I played a lot of football and the up downs. I hated
Oh,
up downs,
yeah.
and so for me, I think it's just a negative correlation. So
From, like,
it's like,
going all the way up, all the way down. Yeah.
so those gain after a game
Yeah.
we would do. up downs for the amount of penalty yards that we got. So
Oh,
sometimes we did quite a few of those, but
yeah,
so and then what's
no.
the favorite?
Man, that's a hard one because I really like the sleds
Mm,
in general. I think they make me feel very strong. Like there's a sense of just being like, yeah, I can push that, you know?
yeah.
And then what I'm physically talented at is the rowing.
Okay.
I've got a good row. I'm not sure where I got the good row from, but I I can hold a really good pace and have my heart rate really, really low. And so I feel the best going into it, out of it. It's yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well, next HYROX race, if you're training for that, hit Breezy up.
Yeah.
She'll get you ready.
Yeah.
All right. So now speaking of kind of like your training and your the classes that you do. So you're a trainer at the gym class in
Yes.
Chandler. And I've never been, but I've seen you guys on Instagram, and it seems like a really fun kind of environment. You're training really hard, but it seems like everyone's really kind of like almost like a family. Kind of, you were explaining this to me earlier. It's kind of like an F45 meets CrossFit, almost type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
How do you foster that? Like, how do you create an environment like that?
Yeah. That is a great question. I think it starts with the core values of like the people that are hired on to work at the facility, to the gym. I think everyone uniquely comes with some similar core values of like sense of belonging and just like friendly. Like it's as simple as like a smile and caring what people are up to goes a really long way. And I think it's just a bunch of people that really want to motivate one another, but also like, and not just in the gym, like also outside of it. My 3 closest friends that I'm just like, we did the HYROX together in New
Okay.
York. They're all also trainers at the gym, and we all started there as going to the gym to just work out. And Jesse, the owner of the gym, like incredible human, saw something unique in all of us and then saw some similarities in all of us, and it's like a family. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's way cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um, so, and with that, so as people come into your classes, there's, different people, different walks of
Yeah.
life, different goals. They might be,
Mhm.
I'm training for this, or I'm just trying to get back into working out, or whatever it is. So, how do you take those people like with different, I guess, goals in mind and create that community?
Yeah. I think, and this is just my thoughts, is like I think we write things off a little too soon
Mm,
before we've even tried it, or maybe I'm not capable of that thing. And I think my job is, as people are walking in, is to a listen to their goals so I can help them, or if there's injuries or if there's things coming up in their lives, like of course, like I need to listen to that. But if I don't see any harm in pushing a little bit further to let people, like one of the most inspiring moments at gym class for me was a mom that was like, I have never done a box jump. I will never do a box jump. Whenever they were written, she would do step ups, which
mm,
is great. But like at some point, if someone will sit with you long enough and push you and help you with that confidence you need, we stacked plates. We stacked 2 plates. She jumped on that. We stacked 3 plates. She jumped on that. And it wasn't overnight. I think it was a few weeks of being like, hey, instead of jumping or feeling like you have to jump up on this 24-inch box or this 20-inch box, let's just start with 2 plates. Let's start with 3 plates. And it maybe progressed over, I would say it was shorter than I think, maybe less than a month that we did that in the workouts, because at gym class, we repeat workouts for 3 weeks. So I remember from the first week of that, it was, let's get some plates out.
mhm,
To the third week of that, she did 1, and that's all she wanted. She went back to being like, I like the step ups better.
mhm.
But man, just her reaction at the end of that and being like, I'm not going to do it, Breezy. I can't do it. I'm like not capable of jumping up that high. And then seeing her do 1, and just like the feeling she had, I like still get so happy that like we can provide that for people. And I think so it's getting to know them. It's also knowing when to push and when it becomes not supportive, is where like you do have to be careful because it can feel not supportive in a gym setting when you're in comparison and you're like, oh, that person's deadlifting 300 pounds, like I can't do that. I should never say go do it.
Mhm.
So it's knowing when you support and when you don't.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
really cool. So, and the gym classes, like it's almost like a hybrid, right? Like hit
Yes.
workouts or lifting, all this other stuff. And that kind of seems to be the fitness trend right
Yeah.
now. Fitness trends come and go. That's just the fitness world and just our world in general. But why do you think this type of model is, where it is right now? And why do you think it's going to, because I believe this is kind of a fitness model, it's going to kind of stick around.
Yeah. I
So,
agree.
and why do you think that? And
Yeah.
why is it that people are kind of being drawn to this type of workout now?
Yeah. You know, I think it's because it's not as technical. I think when you go into something that's so technical like CrossFit's a great workout. I've learned so many skills within CrossFit.
Mhm.
It's very technical and you can get hurt easy and it's a little daunting. And yeah, I would just say that like HYROX is, I mean, you're capable of doing it at every level. Like you have people out there finishing I mean, in the 40 minutes, you have doubles going in 40 like 8 minutes. And then you have people out there for 3 hours. And everybody gets to be there. Everybody gets to be there. And it's really cool to see that, and it's inspiring that you belong there just as much as the next person. And it's like, I don't know anywhere else that you can have elite athletes on the field with people that it's just a goal that they wanted to do with their dad.
Mhm.
I love it. I'm like, of course that's great. And I think also within hybrid or this like different training, I think we go through trends and just a few years ago it was like stop running. Running's bad for you.
Mhm.
Walk only. And I don't know anybody that I've never heard someone say, "Did you get the walker's high?" It's like the runner's high for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I think in general, I don't know, my opinion, we were meant to run.
Mhm.
We were meant to like do these things. And I think Hyrox has figured that out that like we are not a walking society. We have some really cool people out there that can run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I
Yeah.
think we were made to run. We were made to do all these things, and yeah, walking's has its place and it's great. But there's
Totally.
nothing better than finishing a really hard, good run. You just
Nothing.
feel very accomplished with those things, type
Yeah.
of workouts too. So when when you're meeting with people and talking with people in your classes, sometimes people hit a plateau, right? And I'm
Oh, for
sure
sure.
you've hit a plateau training,
Yeah.
whether they're trying to lose weight, um, a PR or whatever they're trying to do, and they hit this plateau. What have you found that helps people maybe get over that plateau, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes the plateau is so daunting or it's just so
Mhm.
frustrating that people just give up or they're just like, man, I'm just stuck. Like, I just can't get
Yeah.
over it. I'm not going to do this. Like, what has helped you personally get over plateaus in your life and in your training? And how do you help people overcome theirs?
Yeah. I think this is where kind of discipline comes in more than motivation. Like, I think plateaus are healthy because like the human body is incredible and you keep consistent and you stay disciplined for sure you're going to see some incredible things that you don't even think you're capable of. But I think plateaus are healthy because I think our bodies are adjusting
Mhm.
and they're trying to figure it out, right? And so I think sometimes our bodies adjust really quickly. Like, let's say I'm like, oh, I'm gonna cut carbs for a week. Of course, the water weight's gonna be like, yo, I don't need all this, right? And you think that's growth, or you think that's like, oh yeah, this is, and then the next week when the water weight and all the, like it settles, and then you like start going to plateau. And I think it's like it's relatively your body reacting. And so I think some shifts and changes, but like when you're hitting a plateau or when I'm hitting a plateau, which I feel like I've just been in one with actually running, I'm like, I'm doing all the reps constantly to get faster. And I'm going into a test and I do a test run and I'm no faster.
Mhm.
And here's the thing that I think it is. I think mentally I'm like having some imposter syndrome, and mentally I'm like I don't know that I'm capable of those paces that I'm seeing, even though I want them.
Mhm.
I don't know that I believe that I can do them. And so I think a bit like I know that if you're not strengthening the mental muscle as much as the physical muscle, there will be a moment where you will plateau maybe even longer than you need to, because if you're not doing the mental work here to like believe, to see it, you can do as many reps as you want, but if you don't believe it, you're not going to have it, you know? And so I think for me it's finding people around me to say you've got this, or even for people to ask me the right questions so I believe that I've got it.
Mhm.
Um because really self-belief is the most powerful thing. You could tell me all day that I'm the best and I'd be like, "Ah, well, I have some work to do."
That's true.
You
So
know?
what do you do, like, aside from surrounding yourself with people that maybe help you on the mental side? Is there anything that you do personally that helps you on the mental side, like strengthen those muscles,
Yeah.
per se?
Yeah, I would say some affirmation work
Mhm.
that I think no, I don't think I need to do more of, but I do see that like self-talk is really powerful.
Mhm.
Podcasts for sure, and listening to people that have trained athletes. That's one of my favorite things to do is listen to perspectives of people who have trained athletes and seen almost these miraculous moments
Mhm.
that physically shouldn't have happened, but happened because of the mental fortitude they had. I love it. It's so inspiring to me that I'm like, oh, if I tap into that, or if I believe that that can happen for me. Um, and then something that someone told me is people that perform at a higher level are more comfortable with being uncomfortable. We know that.
Mhm.
So in those moments that like I'm trying to work on my mental fortitude, what I say to myself is hold on for 20 to 40 more seconds. So if I'm like, I want to quit, I want to go quit, I want to quit, I go 20 more seconds of this. You can do it for 20 more seconds. By the time I'm at that 20 more seconds, I have I have other problems, or I just hit a goal,
Yeah.
you know? And so I always tell myself, just hold on for 20 to 40 more seconds. And usually that's where I feel like that's the mental part that I work on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that. All right. So now kind of shifting gears a little bit. Your husband also, like you've mentioned, he also trains.
Yeah.
He did the HYROX with you in Boston. So because he trains too, does that make it easier for you two to stay disciplined, or is everything kind of like a
Mm.
competition, or how,
Yeah.
or if you see
That's
him,
loaded.
if you see him eating ice cream or something, are you like, hey, you're not
Yeah.
doing that
Put the
right now?
spoon. Yeah. Yeah. I my husband is the if you looked up balanced in the dictionary, he is balanced. He's very I am the opposite of balance. I am all in,
Mhm.
you know, intensity there. He's very balanced. So as far as like yes, we compete about everything. And I think in a way that it's like it's fun, it's healthy. It's never like he wants me to always win and do the best, and I want the same for him. But I would say no, it doesn't make it easier because he wants to work out, I want to work out. We have to share the time, and we have 4 kids. We I work full time. I manage 40 humans at Lululemon.
Mhm.
I train at gym class. I coach athletes, and then I also want to get my workouts done, right? So the amount of time that we have to share because he cares just as much as I do is probably the most complex thing out of all of it. Um and yes, like he definitely holds me accountable to things that I share are important to me, and I do the same. But no, it doesn't make it easier because he won't wake up at 3:30 with me to go run at the track. And he'd rather go run in the 90-degree heat or 100-degree heat. And I'm absolutely like, I would rather wake up at 2 a.m. than that,
Mhm.
you know? So we don't train always together, but we definitely take our stats after on our Garmin's, and we look at each other's VO2 and who ran the faster paces and whatever. Yeah.
That's so fun. That's
Yeah.
great. All right. So if you've accomplished a lot, right? And like you just mentioned, you're doing a ton right now. So if you could give yourself, like, let's just give yourself advice when you were 16, 17 years old, what advice would you give yourself that you wish you would have known then,
Yeah.
now?
Gosh, that's a great question. I Man, I was so stuck in, like, doing what other people did. Like, I think I just embrace who I am, and I embrace, like, my own quirks and what I'm good at, and I really try to stay out of comparison.
Mhm.
You know, it is hard, with HYROX, because in my head, there's people that I'm like, "Man, this person just started doing HYROXes and they're whooping me," you know? And it's like, I don't know all of this other stuff, but I do know from where I came from to where I am, I'm impressed,
Mhm.
you know? And so I just think like, if I could have told Breezy at 16 that, like, just do you, like, it's cool enough and, like, you'll find your people by being you a
Mhm.
lot quicker than when you're trying to, like, fit in with a certain group or certain, yeah, just be you. And
Mhm.
it attracts, like, you attract different people based on, like, in different realms of my life when I've, been in different, like, I don't know, like, I've attracted different people, and
Yeah,
so I would just say, like, just be me, and at 16, I didn't wanna be me, I wanted to be everything but me, but now I'm like, "No, now it's clicked." Like, you gotta just it's way better.
that's great. That's
Yeah,
great advice. All right. You mentioned it a couple of times. You're a mom of four, right?
yeah,
You're a wife. You're managing people at Lululemon. You're a trainer. You're training other people on the side. Like you do a lot, right? And you
yeah,
mentioned that you and your husband kind of have to find that balance. So how do you guys find that balance? What does that look like?
yeah. Honestly, I just married the most incredible human in this world. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. People ask me all the time, "How do you do everything that you do?" I think it's loaded with a lot of passion. I love everything that I do, and I know everything on my plate I've said yes to.
Mhm.
And so I somehow, with the support of my husband constantly, it's like I do fit it all in. But there is a lot of things that I don't get to do, right? Like there's dinners and like, is it on top of everything else? Like I do really want to have a social life with my friends too. Like I care about having that. And so I don't want that to go away. But I think it's just taking care of my body so I can show up and then getting to bed early so I can have an early start. And yeah, the balance and then being able to say no to the things that I don't want to prioritize and not feeling bad about it.
Mhm.
But it's just not right now. Right? I say that a lot, like, "Not right now, but I would love to, and thank you for thinking of me," because one of my biggest fears is to say no so many times that someone stops inviting me,
Mhm.
and so it's like, how do you balance not always being like, "No, no, no," but also, "No and thank you," and, like, being intentional with, like, this time would work better for me so that we can if you would be willing to move that, I could make it. And it's crazy how many people will help move things around when they want you to be at something.
Mhm.
And so I think it's just like using your voice saying no and then having a support system that helps you want to win.
I love that. That's awesome. That's great. All right. Last question for you. So you see a lot of people with everything that you're doing. And I think, the title of the podcast, Unstuck, because I think people just feel stuck a lot of the time, whether it doesn't have to be physically or with your physique or anything like that. It could be stuck spiritually, it could be stuck, economically, financially, wherever they are in life. What advice would you give someone that's just like, man, I just can't keep doing this. I'm stuck, right? And I don't see a way out of it. What would you tell that person that just feels stuck? What would you tell them to help them get unstuck?
Hmm. I'm like, what would I do if I felt stuck? I'm a big journaler. I like to journal to like really get to the bottom of like what it is. I think sometimes I think like all these things are happening and like there is a root cause.
Hmm.
It's like I call it the blue flame. Like there's the blue flame. And I think journaling helps me find what's not working. You know, if I'm feeling really stuck in my financial, like usually it's like, oh, well, it's because I thought I needed all these things. And like relatively speaking, I didn't. Or, so I think journaling is a really good tool for me. um, my parents, calling your parent I don't know what it is about, like, I can call my parents and they're just gonna give me, like, the real honesty that maybe, like, a friend may not wanna give me.
Mhm.
So I think, like, again, the people, like, I choose to usually, like, ask or, like, go internal and really be like, "What is this?" Like, be honest, no one's gonna see this, like, brain dump all the things that are going really wrong in life, and then, like, I will sometimes go back and circle, like, what are the topics that continue to come up?
Mm.
And, like, how frequently are they coming up? And, like, what am I doing to address them? And, yeah, I would say just like one foot in front of the other and 1% better, sometimes being like, man, I need to get to financial freedom or a 6 minute mile consistently, or I want to deadlift 300 pounds. Like, that's huge to think. And then it's like, if you just start doing one thing a day to like get there a little closer, you'll be there before you know it.
I love that. Just being okay with the small steps, right? I think
Yeah.
I love that. Like, yeah, I think it's okay to have really big goals.
Hmm.
I mean, I have lots of big goals, but sometimes, like you said, that mountain of a goal is kind of like overshadows everything, and you get discouraged. But just being okay with, yeah, I got better just a little bit today, and that's good enough,
Yeah.
right? And then just keep building on that and building on that, and eventually that snowball is just going to build, and you gain so much momentum, and then someday you just take like 10%, it's 10%
Yeah.
better, and then it's 20% better, and all that. So,
Yeah. I remember just, like, going out on runs. This was in, like, 2012 to 2015, that era of running,
mhm,
and there wasn't a ton of information out about running, so I just thought every human that ran just went out and just ran.
mhm,
Like, "Today I'm gonna go run 5 miles as fast as I can, and then tomorrow I'm still a runner, I'm gonna go do 7 miles as fast as I can," like, and I think of it the same. It's like, that is not the only way.
mhm,
There's so many ways to get there, but, like, the first thing you gotta do is put your shoes on,
yeah,
and just, like, take the step out there and just, like, and I just remember being felt so shameful for walking when my heart rate was so high, and now it's like I celebrate because I do a ton of intervals, and I, like, look forward to those walks, and I feel I am a stronger runner by like, I remember being so proud of seeing, like, 9-minute miles consistently. It was like, "Wow, look at me. I've gotten to the 9 miles, the 9-minute miles." And what's so funny is I was always so mad that, oh, I had to walk there. And now I'm like, I'm consistently running 6, 7-minute miles, right? And, I'm walking.
yeah.
I'm walking in some, and it's almost like how, like, something can feel so shameful to being so celebrated. As you learn, there isn't always just one way to get everywhere, and the first thing you gotta do is just lace up your shoes and try.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Hey, thank you, Breezy, for
Yes.
joining us today. I really enjoyed talking to you. You shared a lot of really good advice and wisdom. I feel I love doing these shows because I just feel so much better. I feel uplifted. I'm like, all right, let's go conquer the world. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on. If you guys enjoyed the show today, feel free to share it. That's the big thing that I would like to share it with someone that you feel like it could help. Um, Listen to it, like it if you want to, all that fun stuff. And if you really liked Breezy, where can they find you? When do you teach at the gym class?
Yeah.
How can they come and work out with you?
Yeah, so I teach at the gym class, 5 a.m., so you'll have to get yourself up bright and early, but we get to watch the sunrise together. So 5 a.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays, but you cannot go wrong with any of them. Like, any of the classes there are incredible. And yeah, I'm on social media. So if there's any questions or you have any, like, hey, I really want to do this HYROX thing, or I want to get into running, yeah, like, I really just it's like passionate. I'm
Mm,
passionate about people, like, proving themselves right. So that's where you can find me.
awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. All right, guys. Thanks for listening today. I'm Brett and Hunt, and this was Unstuck. And remember, the progress begins with one step.